Okay, hi. So this time I'm going to discuss exactly because I think I just received like 2 or 3 emails. Yeah, but I think why not I do this? All right. So this is the guidelines on how to do your group assignments, which contributes to 30% of your course evaluation, where 20% is on the assignment itself and 10% is on the presentations. And make sure that your presentation is bombastic. Okay, so use a lot of colors, use Prezi, or if you want to use PowerPoint, make it interesting. All right, so let's do this together. Let's look at this. So first is I want you to form a group, and I think this one doesn't matter because I've already assigned you into groups. So by now I also receive informations, yeah, like some of the groups contacted me and then say that okay, this particular person doesn't contribute and all that. So beware if you are the one who doesn't contribute to the group, because in the end, if your friends can show proof that you have not contributed at all and everyone agrees, so there are cases every year. There are cases in which this student actually lose mark, and you can't justify anything because you're really not doing the work. Okay, and because this is a group assignment, there's no way that you can say, oh, then can I do it on my own, so and then we produce students who can't work with another person. When you go to the labor market, that's why they say, university students nowadays, they cannot work with other person. There's no leadership skill, there's no communication skill and all that. So this is a group assignment, so you have to submit it as a group. But if you don't contribute anything, then I think it's your group members' right to to report it to me. Okay, so you can always contact me if you want to have like a meeting, a discussions, and then you can show me your work, and then you can ask, oh, is this okay, is this correct, and all that. Okay, so let's see what you need to do. First is you need to submit one soft copy of your report and submit this to Spectrum, and this is a PDF. Okay, so if you're group A, then name it as She Group A, so that it's easier for me to mark. I know that okay, this is group A, and in your group as well, when you type in you can put GFE 0007, and this is the name of the course, like what is it, data analytics made easy for beginners. Okay, you can put this something like this, and then you can put group assignment, okay, due by whatever January, okay, 2023. And then this is group G, okay, and this is the name of group G. Okay, your name is AAA and AAA and BBB and CCC, and this is your metric ID. So your metric ID is very long now. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so make sure this is very clear, so I know that, oh, I'm marking group G. Otherwise there's some group I don't know, but they don't put the group name here, so I have to contact the student, hey, which group are you in, and it takes a lot of efforts, both sides. Yeah, okay, so you have done this. Okay, and then once you've done it, and then you can save this as a PDF. Once you've done everything, you can save this as a PDF and then you submit it. Okay, and then another thing that you need is the data sets. Okay, the data sets can be stored as a TXT file, as a CSV, as a DTA, whatever file. Okay, even if it is not listed here, if you're using that data sets, then that's fine. You just submit this. Okay, submit this on Spectrum, and then I want one R script that can run without any errors. Okay, so what did I do? So what I want you to do is I want you to create an R script over here, and you can do all the codes. So let's say you get the data from whatever it is, and then you run whatever the codes are, and I want you to save this. So once you save this, it is saved as R script. Okay, let's say now I want to put it in the desktop, so I put this as she assignment, or you have to put it like she underscore group underscore A, something like that. Okay, and you save that, and you can see that in your local computer it is saved as, you know, it is saved as she group A. Okay, so this is R file, and you can right click and you can look at the properties, so you can see that this is like .r file. So this is the one that you need to submit to me. So 3 things. Number 1 is this one. Okay, you have to save this as file, save as, you know, let's say put it in the desktop. I need to change my computer now, it's very slow. Okay, you put it she group A, and you save this as a PDF. Okay, but I'm not ready to do that yet, so yeah, why not just save as PDF, just save. So this one is saved as a PDF, and then the data sets. Okay, all right, now let's look at what you need to do. First is you need to find a suitable data set from any sources. Okay, so make sure that the data size is moderate, with observation between 50 to 1000 and variables between 3 to 20. So it really doesn't matter. And these are some of the sources which you can find. But as I told you, I'm more interested in looking at if you can get the data sets from your own faculty. Like you may have done another project before from your own faculty, yeah, so I don't know, like engineering, what kind of data do you have, like architecture, maybe some housing data, and then, you know, student from Bahasa, they might have like different kind of data sets that you might have come across. Okay, so you can look at any of these sources, but you can also find whatever data sets that you can find. Like now let me start from 0. So but I don't want to spend time searching, so I'm going to look for the data that I have used before. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to find Titanic dataset. So in case that you are having a very hard time to find the datasets, then please let me know, because I have, like I told you many times in the class, yeah, I have a few which you can use, but so far nobody has contacted me asking for the data. Okay, so I'm looking at this one because I've worked on this data before. It's very interesting data sets. So I'm clicking on this, and alright, Titanic machine learning from disaster, and I'm interested in looking at the data, so I click on the data tab. So question is, can you use these data sets? Of course you can. Okay, so I'm going to choose one of the data sets available here, so I'm just going to click on download. So it asks me to sign in, so I'm going to sign in. Okay, I'm using mine. Okay, I have to go again, data. Right, I'm going to use the train data set, and I'm going to download this. Save it in desktop. Alright, so now I'm going to open it, and let's look at how the data looks like. Okay, while waiting for that, okay, I have 2 computers actually, but for some reason this week I like to use my laptop even though it's extremely slow. Let's look at the description of the data. Usually when you go out and find your own data, the source of the data will show you what this data is all about. Okay, so So this is some overview. It says that the training set and the test set and whatever it is. Okay, so click on view more. Different source of data will have like different formats, like you have to find out how to get information about the data sets. But basically, okay, so here it is. So this is the data dictionary. It tells you these are the variable. Okay, this is what appears on the Microsoft Excel. Okay, survival, P class, okay, sex, age, and etc. So this is the definition. Survival is yes, survive, no, doesn't survive, and this is the ticket class, and you can read the rest of them. So basically is that we have information about the passengers of Titanic. Yes, this is the Titanic, you know. This is information whether this particular passenger survived Titanic or not survived Titanic. Okay, clearly Rose and Jack doesn't survive, but that is based on, you know, based on the movie. I'm so sorry, yeah, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, this is like a real data sets. Okay, so need some respect on that. Okay, so this is the P class, this is the ticket class. You have like first class, like this is the first class, second class, and the third class, and this is the gender, and we have age, and we have like is there any numbers of siblings, are they coming with siblings or spouses, and this is you know, number of parents or children aboard the Titanic, are they coming with family, and this is the ticket number, and this is the fare of the passengers, and this is the cabin number, and this is the port of embarkment. So there are 3 ports of embarkment, and you can read the rest of here. Okay, so basically based on these data sets, we know for sure the variable that we are most interested in looking at is the survival, whether they survive or not survive the Titanic shipwreck. Okay, so that's when you go back to these questions, and okay, let's say I have already found a suitable data set. I may have found like many data sets, and then I decide that among all the data sets that I have already downloaded, I'm going to use this because this is the most interesting. Okay, and then I can formulate one research questions that can be derived from the data. Okay, so based on the data sets that you have, like you might download a COVID-19 data set, which is available on GitHub as well. So remember when the Minister of Health at that time, Khairi Jamaluddin, made the data available, so you can download it, and then you can look at the data, and then you can come up with some questions. And when I look at the data that we have here, the questions that you can come out is, so this is the actual data, okay, and this is the survival. So the question that I can ask is that what is the survival rate? How many people survive? If we look at this data, we know that there are, okay, I have to have great patience because my laptop is very slow. We have about 900 observations, and out of this 900 observation, how many actually survive? Okay, so even though you can use Microsoft Excel to answer this question, but I would like to look at your codes, so you really have to do the coding in R. So you can come up with the bar charts, you can come up with anything, you can come up with some statistical, you know, measures or anything. Okay, but you come up with the questions like what is the survival rate? Okay, and you can ask more interesting question, like for example, are males actually survive more than females, or females survive more than males? How about the relationship between survival, sex, and age? Is it true that the younger ones, let's say the young female, actually survive more than older males, and etc.? So those are the kind of questions that you like to ask if you have like this kind of data. Okay, you have this data, so those are the questions that you like to ask. Or you can ask the questions like, I suspect that those in the first class actually survive more, have a higher survival rate compared to the third class passenger. Doesn't matter if they are young or old, if they are male or female. Okay, so this class is actually those from the, you know, the lord and the ladies, they survive more. Okay, so these are the questions that you can ask. So to come up with these questions, you can do a lot of things with the data. You can come up with the scatter plot, you can test this, you can come up with the histogram, you can come up with this and that, and then from there, then you see, oh, there is a patterns. So based on the patterns, you come up with the question. Okay, you come up with the questions. So you don't just come up with the question by looking at this and then you look for like 5 days straight and then you want to ask this question. Not like that. So you have to play with the data first, and then from playing with the data, then you have some idea about, okay, so this is the question that I want to ask. Okay, this is the question that have some significant value, because you can tell a story from this. Like for example, you can tell a story that the first class passengers, okay, especially the females, they have a higher survival rate compared to the third class passenger. So this is the story that you want to tell. Whether it's true or not, okay, you have to dig into the data to really learn, to really investigate. Or you can look at the sibling size. Those coming with family, those coming with siblings or spouse, they have lower or higher survival rate. Okay, but the target variable here is survival, because you want to see. Okay, but sometimes the questions can also be not so interesting. Like for example, you want to see the relationship between name and ticket, for example. It doesn't have any, doesn't have any significant value, doesn't tell anything. So make sure that the questions that you're gonna ask is actually interesting, that can tell some stories. Okay, so that is the question that you need to ask, and then based on that question, then you can use whatever that you learn from the class and whatever that you can learn from outside as well. Okay, it doesn't matter. If you can find some sources from outside that you think, oh, I can use this method to explain about the data, then just use them. Okay, and then maybe you want to use a scatter plot to show the relationship between two numerical variables, or you want to use a box plot or time series line or whatever it is. Okay, and you want to use like mean and median and average, whatever it is. You can tell that, hey, the mean survival rate of first class passenger is actually higher than the mean survival rate of the third class passenger. So you can use that. And then finally is you use the linear regression model. Okay, in this case, make sure that the dependent variable is continuous numerical. Okay, so in this case, you can actually look back at the data, and then maybe you want to choose one of this as the independent variable, any of the numerical variable, and you want to use the rest of them as the independent variable. So we haven't really talked about the linear regression. I'm sure the lecture note will come, the recorded lecture video will come very soon. And once you cover the linear regressions, then I'm sure you all can already finish your projects already. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about this because we haven't covered this part on linear regression yet. Okay, basically what you need to do once you have done all that, now is the reporting. So first is you need to introduce your project. What is it about? So in this case, I can tell that, okay, this is about the survival of the Titanic passenger. Okay, where's the source? I get the data from GitHub, and I put the link of the data set here. So this is the link of the data. So I just copy, and then I just put it in the just put it here. So first I explain, I got this data about what, and and this is the source, and what are you trying to achieve? So what I'm trying to achieve here is that I'm trying to understand the survival rate of the passenger. Is it because of the passenger is first class or the third class? Is it because of sex? Is it because of is it because of age? So that is what I'm trying to achieve here in this project. And then I want you to provide a list of data dictionary. Usually when you go and you obtain the data from the internet, the data dictionary is already given to you. Like for example, like this one. This is the data dictionary. All you need to do is just copy this and then just type it in the Microsoft Word, and that's it. You're done. Okay, And then you need to generate one question about the data that will be interesting to report. This is the same as before, you know. You just generate one question, okay? So I can write here, like somewhere here I can put there, let's say this is going to the next page lah. Okay, so what factors, you know, this is very, very simple, affecting the survival rate of you know, Titanic passengers. Obviously, if you want to use this Titanic data sets and you want to come up with this example that I've already given you, okay, in terms of creativity, I would say you can't really copy this idea because it is already given as an example, you know. So you better go find any other data sets that you can tell the story, or if you really want to use this data set, don't use the example that I've already given you, okay? Yeah, so this is answering this question on generate one question, okay? And then you construct the linear regression, and then you provide the interpretations, and then you have to explain how the data analytics help you solve problems or improve your understanding. So you can tell here that by the use of visualization technique, you are able to show it helps me to understand what is the relationship between the survival rate and the, you know, the class of the passenger and all that. So that is what you need to explain. And then you need to state any limitation or how you could improve your research in the future. Okay, so do you think that the variable that you already have, like, you know, the sex of the passenger and age and all that, is enough to explain about whether they survive or not? Okay, so is the method that you use is actually great, or is there any room of improvements that you can do? Is there any data sets, is there any data, is there any variables that you want, okay, that can make your analysis becomes better, right? Okay, and then you're going to present. You have 5 minutes to present your work. I think I'm going to revise this. See if, you know, we need to have more than 5 minutes, because, you know, 5 minutes is too short actually, because each of the group members must have a chance to speak. So you can use any presentation slides as your slide format, and then you will be evaluated based on this one. So the most mark come from the development of the project. Like, you know, you start with finding an interesting data sets, and then it flows well. There's like a story, very interesting story, and then there is an optimal abundance of appropriate R function. So compare between two groups, yeah. So one group is asking about what is the average survival rate, but the second group is asking about what is the survival rate based on gender, age, and, you know, class. So obviously, if you just look at the average survival rate, you just, like, you know, a very, very simple analysis. Just run one code and you get the average. Not so much story that you can tell, compared to the second group who, you know, look at the relationship of many variables and are able to tell a lot more stories. So of course those in the second group will get a higher mark, and of course the originality of the ideas. Okay, all right, so I think that's all. I hope that in case you still have questions to ask, yeah, oh yeah, you have some creativity on the nice graphics and clear articulation. Nice graphics, yeah, this is what I want to look, even though it's just 1 mark, but try to make it interesting. So I think that's all on how to do the project for this class. And okay, anything, you can always contact me and just let me know.